Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Hi, my name's Rachel. I am the payments team captain at Jane. So I handle more so like the support side of things. Why do I love Jane Payments? Well, everything's in one place. So you don't have to jump around to any other platforms. And I don't know about you, but less logins as possible here. As well, I just love chatting about Jane Payments with clinics. But what brings me the most joy, I had a recent chat with a clinic that wanted to move over to Jane Payments. They were really nervous about it. Moving all your billing over to a new software is really stressful, but we walked through every step of the way. And then in the end, hearing their excitement about how much easier that was going to be for them. I just love that like light bulb moment at the end. But yeah, it's so nice to see you all here today.
Hey everyone, I'm Michelle. I'm on the product marketing team here at Jane. What do I love about Jane Payments? I think if I had to choose just one thing, it would honestly be the convenience of it for practitioners, for admin, but also like selfishly for myself as a patient. I had a massage the other day and our session ended and I popped up and I was walking home and I was feeling all happy and relaxed. And it struck me how much of a difference it really makes when you can walk out of there on a healing note and not, doing the awkward like wallet dance at the very end. So that's probably my personal favorite part of Jane Payments. The other thing I really love is just how transparent and easy to understand the fees are, but we can chat a little bit more about that later.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. What even is Jane Payments? So Jane Payments is a complete payment system integrated into your Jane account. So it just means everything is within Jane and you can get paid and manage your payments within Jane. So Jane Payments is made up of online payments as well as terminal payments. You can kind of pick whatever works best for you. You can use both or just one or the other. As well, all the reporting is built inside of Jane. So like I said before, you don't need to go into any other platforms or anything like that. And then in my humble opinion, I think the best part about Jane Payments is that we're your support. So we don't send you over to anyone else. We'll handle it from end to end. And then obviously there's lots of other great features built into Jane to help you.
Yeah. So like Rach mentioned, you can do online payments, you can do terminal payments, you can do a combination of the two. We actually have a really fun, like find my payment personality quiz that we can link into the chat for you. It's a good one. So maybe give that a go if you aren't already using Jane Payments. With online payments, there's a few great things you can do. You can keep clients' cards on file. You can set up online booking prepayment policies, recurring membership payments. You can send out payment reminders via text and email. With our terminal, you can obviously just let clients tap, swipe, or insert their card. The payment information flows directly between Jane and the terminal. So there's no sort of keying in the number and making billing errors and that sort of thing. It also pays out to multiple accounts, which is nice. A few less terminals on your desk is always a good thing if there's a bunch of people in your practice. It also lets you prompt for tips, which is really nice. All right. Maybe I'm not seeing too many questions yet, but we can kick it off with something that came up a lot when people were registering. And the first question that we saw was, if my clients don't book online, can I still use Jane Payments? So Rach, do you want to maybe walk through that one?
For sure. This is such a great question. So for those that do not offer online booking for their patients, you'll often want to use intake forms actually to gather all of their information prior to their appointment. But recently we released as well as updated a feature. So if you head into settings in your Jane account and then into forms and surveys on the left, we'll hop into the intake form section here, just in view forms. So basically what you can do now, so Jane Payments offers you a PCI compliant credit card collection option. So it can be based on each intake form. Maybe some require a credit card, maybe some don't. But if you pop into edit one of your intake forms, you'll see that there's now a credit card tab, provided you're already signed up with Jane Payments. There's a few different options. Like I said, it's on an intake form by intake form basis. So at the top here, we have three options. So do not ask for credit card if you want to do that. There's optional, This means if a client is filling out your intake form, they can skip the credit card portion if they want to. So that would help, if there's any barriers to, like credit card could be a barrier to getting your intake form filled out. So optional is good if you don't fully require it, or if you want to require it and it would stop them from, filling out the form if they didn't enter their credit card information. So there's a few options in here. We've pre-populated some information as well. But yeah, that is the credit cards on intake forms.
Mm-hmm. And if your clients don't book online as well, using Jane Payments, I mean, you can still send out pay balance emails and texts. You can still use memberships. You can still take payments directly through Jane or on a terminal. So there's lots of different ways that you can still use Jane Payments. Rach, are you seeing any other questions popping up?
Yes, we have one from Laurie. Thanks, Laurie. I'm curious to know the difference between Jane Payments versus Square versus Payfirma.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So Jane Payments is the payment solution that's integrated with your Jane account. And over the years, it's been powered in the background by a few different payment processors. So like you mentioned, Payfirma, Square, Stripe. So years back, we had Stripe powering just our online payments, and we realized that we probably needed an integrated terminal solution for everyone. So we went with Square. And sorry, did I say Stripe or Square for the online? Just want to make sure I'm not confusing things. So we had Stripe as the online, integrated with Square to provide a terminal. And then when Stripe later, like a year or so later, came out with their own terminal, we figured it would maybe be helpful to have everything under one platform, because that means that all of your reports are in one place right inside Jane. You're on one payout schedule, and you're being supported all by the Jane team rather than having to go between Jane and Square for support. So does that kind of answer the question?
I think so.
All right, let's see if we've got any other questions going in here. And Lori says, and what about Payfirma? Rach, do you want to just give a quick little blurb on that?
Yeah, so Payfirma was the original payment processor we integrated with when we basically first offered online payments. Yes, and Square, sorry, Sherilyn, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Square is no longer available for clinics. We did sunset that integration back in 2022, in the beginning of the year, as we move towards the Jane Payments terminal. So that's now our main offering. And, the reason behind it a little bit is we have full visibility in terms of Jane Payments, which is Stripe, whereas with Square, we didn't have as much visibility. So it's nice to have everything just in one place, terminal, online, and you don't need to do anything separately. Okay, we have some more in the Q&A, I think. Just having a read through here. So there is a question. Our current software can automatically charge our $50 late cancellation / no-show fee. Does Jane require us to apply that charge each time someone is late? Oh.
Yeah. So right now in Jane, there isn't an option to do an automatic charge with a no-show or late cancellation fee. What you can do is send a pay balance email or text. So once you've invoiced for the no-show or late cancellation, you can just hit that pay balance button and send them a little note letting them know why they're being charged. Let's see. I think something that came up quite a bit in the sign up questions, Rach, were about rates. There's a lot of different questions about rates, so I wonder if we maybe want to just do a quick once over on that right now.
Yes, for sure. I have our payments page up here handy. We have all of our rates openly available on our website. Something I think that's really important to keep in mind when it comes to rates and offering lower rates and whatnot, it can be really challenging for clinics to understand the rates that they're actually paying. A lot of payment processors aren't really clear in what the actual fee is. They may present the fee as like 1.5 or something like that, but then there's so many like compounding hidden fees. It could be like PCI compliance, terminal rental fees, cancellation fees, monthly fees, annual fees, lots of different fees. So there's lots of different factors when that comes up. With Jane Payments, though, it's very transparent. What you see is what you pay. So you can see on our website what our rates are per transaction for Canada and in the US. So you're not paying anything else on top of those. It's just the per transaction fees. If you're curious about what your per transaction fee could be, we will send some information after our session today. We have a blog on calculating this rate. Or if you want to reach out to us directly as well, you can definitely do that, and we can help you understand the fee and kind of offer a comparison for you.
Roxy, sorry, I'm seeing that we skipped your question. Let me just go up and find it. I think maybe, Roxy, for that one, it might be easier if you email in and we can kind of work through that one with you one-on-one. Make sure we're really addressing your question. All right.
Actually, I see a question from you. We have a Moneris machine. Do we need to take payment outside of Jane then? Yes, if you want to continue using Moneris, you would need to manually indicate those payments in Jane. It's just the Jane Payments terminal that will integrate for those seamless payments.
Okay. Hey, Rach, there was another question that came up a bunch actually when people were signing up that maybe we could touch on quickly. It was, is Jane Payments secure against people trying to see my client's credit card information?
Oh, great question. So no card information is actually saved in Jane. We can't see anything. It's just the last 4 digits. But I guess the more like technical way it's stored, it's called a token, which is like a snippet of code that replaces sensitive information with non-sensitive placeholder. So nothing is actually available from within Jane. So not possible.
I'm curious, for all the folks here, how many of you are actually using Jane Payments already? And how many of you are thinking about using Jane Payments and are hoping for maybe a little bit of info on how to get started or anything like that? I'll now quietly, awkwardly wait for the chat to fill up.
I'd love to know as well. Sorry to bounce 2 questions out there at the same time. Is there anything in particular that would stop you from moving over? And I'd love to just try to help people understand like that process. So if there's anything that we could answer, I'd love to hear your questions.
Okay, we've got a pretty good mix, thinking about it, thinking about how to get started, already using it, considering switching. Wow, we've got a real mixed bag in here. That's great. Rach, for the folks who are thinking about switching, do you want to maybe just show them in Jane where they can head to get signed up?
Definitely. Okay, so in your Jane account, you'll be in the settings tab, and then on the left-hand side, you'll see Jane Payments. So if you're not already signed up for Jane Payments, you would see a prompt to sign up. But you can also order your terminal in here as well, just by hitting order terminal, and that will be populated in your account. You'll be able to just fill that out, pop your credit card information into there, and then place your order, and it will be mailed out to you. So really quick and easy. Jane Payments takes, I would say, like a maximum of 5 minutes to sign up. You just need some of your basic business information and personal information. But as soon as you're signed up, you can start taking payments. So you could sign up and be taking your first payment within like 5 minutes if you wanted to.
Awesome. All right. I see Holly said, we're hoping to find out about keeping everything in one place. So Holly, I'm curious, do you feel like we've already answered that question, or can we show you maybe some of the reporting and things to help show how it's all sort of in one? And Alana, just to answer your question, you definitely don't need a terminal. A lot of people actually just use online payments. Part of the payment personality quiz that I've been plugging is that it kind of shows like if you need a terminal. So some of the reasons that you might want to have a terminal is if you accept tips as part of your practice. It can be a little awkward if you are kind of like verbally prompting people for tips. So the terminal is really nice for that. If you're in the States and you accept HSA cards, sometimes, I mean, it does work for online payments, but they can be a little finicky. So sometimes the terminal is nice to have as a backup for those. Otherwise, though, more and more we're seeing people move towards just online payments because it's super easy and convenient.
I'm going to hop in and answer a question for Laurie here. So just to read it out for the recording, we have some patients with credit card info saved in Jane with Payfirma previously. Can we get that transferred into Jane Payments if we stop using Payfirma, or will we need to ask for that information from the patient again? So since it's such a secure piece of information, billing information cannot be transferred. However, Jane Payments actually makes it really easy to regather that information. You can, like I showed before, use the credit card for intake forms. You can set up online booking payment policies. I'll just quickly show you that. So if you're in the settings area of Jane, on the left-hand panel under settings, you'll see online booking. Scrolling down a little bit here, there'll be a section for prepayment and deposits. So what you could do is set up a payment policy to just require a credit card on file. You could do a deposit if you wanted to, or full payment. But if you're just moving from one payment processor over to another, just online booking requires a credit card on file. And then you also have the option to send pay balance prompts. So if you have some balances that are outstanding with some patients, what you can do is under the actual patient profile is send them a pay balance email or SMS. I'll show you quickly here. Actually, I'm going to head over to the reporting tab and quickly hop into our accounts receivable so I can see someone that's outstanding. Okay, so we can see all of our outstanding balances here. I'm just going to pick a random person. And then so what you can do is just send a pay balance email right here. So within a few clicks of a button, you can prompt them to just log in and process their payment. Really nice and easy. As well, if you are switching from one payment processor to another, know that we're here to support you. If you have any questions or anything, please email into our support team. We'd like to support you through that process. You might speak with me, but I'd love to help anyone move over if they're nervous about it or have any questions or anything.
Sweet, thanks, Rach. I'm seeing, is a website included in the system, or will we need a separate website for the business? That's a great question. So a website isn't included, but we do have an integration with something called Clinic Sites, where they'll take a bunch of the information that you already have living in Jane and move it over and help you create a really beautiful customized website. So that's something that we can add a little bit of information in the follow-up email about if you're interested in that.
I will hop into another question. This one is from Alana. We have a relatively large practice. How effective is Jane Payments at ensuring clients' payment info is on file prior to the session? What's the best way to track this? I would say just requiring a credit card for any online booking, as they'll always then be prompted to ensure they have up-to-date credit card information. So as long as you have that setting set up and all of your patients are booking online, that would be your best bet. But if you do have some that you're booking administratively, I would really recommend using the credit card on intake form. You could even just, maybe if you offer like a medical history as the first thing that your clients fill out, you can require a credit card for that particular intake form and then not for your others. But yeah, I hope that's helpful.
All right, I'm just seeing Holly wrote in, I'm learning a lot already. Yay, that's great. And you're saying that you're going to reach out soon with more specifics. And for anyone who has kind of like those nitty-gritty questions about because everyone's clinic is so unique and everyone's setup is so unique, and we're super happy to work through what the best workflows will be to accommodate all of that with you. So if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out after this as well. All right, let's see. Any other burning questions coming up for folks? Rach, I see one on recurring payments in the Q&A. I can see Maddie's gonna type some info about it, but do you want to maybe chat quickly about memberships?
Yeah, for sure. So in Jane, you can set up different types of memberships. If you head over to settings in your Jane account and then scrolling down, we have packages and memberships. So you can set up all different types of either packages or memberships. You can set them up for lots of different ways. Like you can set up an amount, and then you can specifically indicate like what is included in that membership. So let's say you're a chiropractic clinic and subsequent visits are included, you can include those down here and build them into the package. And you can also indicate how many are in the packages as well. So they're fully customizable. Once you've created them, you can sell them to your patient. I'll quickly show you that. I don't want to overwhelm the information, but if you're in your billing tab, there'll be a section for packages and memberships there. So any packages or memberships that you've already created, you'll be able to just hit new purchase and then sell one of those to the clinic. And then on your when they come in for their appointment, you'll actually see it prompted in their billing information. So you can just opt them into using that package and it will take care of the billing. You don't need to do any payments and the little dollar sign will show up on the appointment. Nice and easy.
Yeah, and we can definitely, we'll include our guide on setting up recurring memberships and all of that in the follow-up. So you can kind of step by step go through.
Awesome. Anything else coming in here? Alana, so we book almost all sessions administratively. Normally we take payment information on intake over the phone, but if they were to submit their payment info through Jane, how can we track this to make sure it's on file before their first session takes place? Probably depends on like your general clinic workflows. But at the clinic that I work at a clinic part-time, and we normally check this about 72 hours ahead of appointments. We'll go through and just review their appointment. We're looking to see if they filled out an intake form. And at the same time, we're seeing if here it's showing if there's a credit card on file or not. So if there was a credit card on file, obviously it would just say credit card on file, but we can really easily and quickly see whether or not a credit card is on there. Yes.
I really like the question in the chat right now about, have you done a survey with clinics using Jane Payments if they save money using the system from late cancellations? We haven't done a survey. That's actually a great idea. But it has come up a ton in our community group. And if anyone's not already in the Jane community, totally encourage you to join. It's such a wonderful resource. And people have had so many great conversations in there about how, you know, when they implement a online booking policy or when they make sure they have a card on file through an intake form, it just reduces the risk of no-shows, like almost to the point where they don't happen anymore, which is so great to hear. And it's also great to hear from folks that, you know, when they do happen, having the option to charge that card on file is just such a lovely safety net to have as well. So no like quantitative data to share, but plenty of qualitative data from the Jane community on how helpful it's been. And from Tina, does this system integrate with other website builders like Squarespace? Right now, the only website builder integration we have is with clinic sites.
I will say for anyone that already has a website and is not looking to move over to another builder, you can within Jane, I believe we still have it. You can create a online booking button to pop onto your existing website. So when you're under settings and then branding on the left-hand side, if you just scroll down to the bottom, there's online booking buttons and URLs. So if you actually just copy and paste this code here, it will create a button that looks just like this in the colors that you have selected up here. So then you can just pop it on your pre-existing website. They can just click book an appointment and it will take you over to the Jane side of things. Anyone else want to pop in some last minute questions into the chat?
Should I tell a dad joke while we wait to see if anyone? I was Googling them today because just a little tidbit for everyone in here, sort of our payments lead here at Jane is about to become a dad. So I was looking for money related dad jokes to share if we need a little icebreaker while people thought about questions. Okay, hold on. Let me had one pulled up here. So Rach, why do goalkeepers have so much money in the bank?
Why, Michelle?
Because they're really good at saving.
Oh, goodness.
I'm so sorry. Jack, have we talked about online gift cards yet? No, we haven't. So we released online gift cards back in December. It's a pretty basic version of online gift cards right now, but actually hot off the press, we're about to make some updates to make them a little bit easier for you to sell. And one of those updates is that we're going to have a link where you can actually take that link and put it, like Rach mentioned, with the online booking button right onto your website. And it'll take any clients or patients who want to buy an online gift card straight to the interface in the client portal where they can do that. So that's an exciting little tidbit of what's coming soon. All right. I think that might be it for questions. All right. Like we said, though, please do get in touch if you want to chat about like how Jane payments might work for your specific practice. Everyone's different, and we really do love talking to you about it. So don't hesitate to email in or give us a call, and we'll send a bunch of info out after this session with some of the answers to questions and resources that we mentioned. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone, for all the questions. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a great day.